A metaphor. It's kind of like my English experience. I mean, I didn't like a metaphor at first. Like, we had a simile, and then I guess it slowly grew on me as I got to use it more and I saw it more and I found the meaning behind it and I could find ones that I liked. But there's always those few that I feel like are unnecessary or extra. But there's also a few that I just don't like, but I feel like, oh, I guess they're pretty good. Those are usually the cliches. And now I've kind of reached a gentle acceptance that metaphors exist and I'm willing to use them because they do sometimes make my life better, you know? At least my writing. And for me, it's kind of like my English experience. Or, as I would say, using a metaphor, it is my English experience. I'm I started out rough in English, like I had a 92%. I know, so terrible. But at Sage, a 92% is actually a different GPA than a 93%. And for me, I had my own pressures to do well. And I found that not having a perfect GPA really, really I was really bothered by it. I really wanted that perfect GPA. So that's what was wrong. And then I slowly got more accustomed to English, but I still found that we kind of made everything was a little bit unnecessary. Like, why are we looking at the singular word for the singular line in the singular poem? Like, the author just used it. Come on. But one book that kind of changed my view on that was Everything I Never Told You. Now, Everything I Never Told You was the first book in high school that I just read straight through because I actually liked it, you know? So, yeah, so when we got down to doing all the nitty gritty and analyzing every single word and every single sentence and how they use this simile or metaphor, I was quite willing to do it. I was like, you see, I understand now. I have something I want to talk about, and I can see more things to talk about if I do this. So that feeling kind of went with me. And remember how I said that there were some metaphors that I'm like, okay, you can exist, but I don't really like you? Well, one of those books for me was The Awakening and The Stranger. They both kind of one the awakening related to me because it was something that I personally face, but I just didn't like how she resolved it, right? It's like metaphor similar, like I don't like you metaphor, but yeah, I kind of relate you, but I don't like how you do it. And then stranger, I like the stranger. I mean, I didn't like the stranger, I just found the stranger to be interesting. It gave me a new perspective, and it's when someone uses a metaphor in a new way or they show me a new metaphor and I'm like, "Oh, interesting." But I'm probably never going to think of that, but that's cool to know. So for me, my English experience is a metaphor. Is my experience with a metaphor. You know, unwillingness to reluctant acceptance.